The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the island of Grand Bahama recorded a traffic fatality this past weekend. The deadly crash, which occurred at the eastern end of the island, also sent 5 other persons to the local hospital. Joan Davis-Roll has our top story.
It was a gruesome scene Saturday morning as a badly burned shell of what used to be a Chevy Cobalt car owned by 24-year-old Lamont Lang of Freetown, East End, is all that is left following the tragic accident. A deadly mishap which claimed the life of Lang and sent occupants of another vehicle involved in the 2-car collision to the Rand Memorial Hospital. Debris from that fatal incident littered the street, and police officials were out in full force trying to determine what went wrong, as investigators attempted to put the pieces of what could be described as a deadly puzzle together. Officer in charge of the Eastern District, Superintendent of Police, David Deveaux.
A vehicle that was traveling west with 5 passengers collided with a vehicle that was traveling east. That vehicle had 1 passenger, the driver, lone person, the driver. As a result of the collision, the vehicle that had the 1 passenger, of course, upon impact, caught fire, and the driver perished. The persons in the vehicle that was traveling west, there were 5 persons, like I said. 3 of those persons received injuries.
From all indication, it appears that the victim died on impact. Eric Mosvold, who lives on the property of the old Freetown farm, says he was on the scene moments after the smash-up occurred. He recalls the horrifying sounds of the crash and how he witnessed the deadly blaze.
We heard a loud bang and came running out here, and there was a car on fire and another car with an accident. So we called the police and rescue, and they came and assessed the situation.
What went through your mind when you heard the loud bang?
Well, I know my sister and brother-in-law, they woke up off the bed because it startled them so bad. So it was a pretty loud explosion. 1 car was burning. We didn't know there was a victim in it at that point, and then there were 4 people in the other car.
The moments immediately after the accident, he said, were touch and go. He assisted officials in their rescue efforts and said he made the initial 911 call for help. He's expressing concern, however, about the response time by emergency officials.
It was pretty slow for them to get out here initially. The lady that answered the call didn't even know where we were, so she kept putting us on hold to find out where the farm was. So it took a while to get out here.
You think that may have played a factor, too?
Well, the gentleman was dead before the car stopped rolling, but it could have helped some of the other people if they had been here a little quicker.
Meanwhile, the police is issuing this warning to motorists who frequent the area.
The area is dark, not many light in this area at all, and what we found is that persons are speeding. I wish to appeal to those drivers to slow down, save lives. As a matter of fact, the life that you save could be your very own.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, immigration officials nabbing a group of 4, 3 French citizens and an American for illegal landing and the unauthorized use of a port. The 4 arriving on board a boat named the Kathy K on Thursday evening and docked at a resort in the Lukhaya area offloaded a quantity of items, including multiple flat-screen TVs, without clearing immigration and customs. The 3 women and the male captain were arraigned in court today before Magistrate Tyrell Smith and were charged with illegal landing in an unauthorized port of entry. The captain, a Frenchman, pled guilty to illegal landing and was fined $300 or 1 month behind bars. On the charge of assisting with illegal landing, he pled guilty and he was fined $6,000 or 6 months behind bars. Now, the 3 women, including the captain's American wife, pled guilty to entering an unauthorized port. They were given a fine of $300 each or 1 month behind bars. All of the fines were paid and the group was handed over to the Customs Department for processing. Now, we understand that all of the goods being brought in was seized by the Customs Department. Once this area of the investigation is complete, the 4 will be sent back home. The Free National Movement Senator John Bostwick expected to be charged this week with possession of ammunition. Police say the 42-year-old Nassau resident was traveling from Freeport to New Providence around 7 o'clock on Saturday night when he was stopped at the security checkpoint. Police say when Bostwick's bags went through the customary X-ray check, officers noted a suspicious object and alerted the police. When police checked the bags, they say they discovered 10.22 rounds of ammunition. The senator was then arrested and taken into police custody. Now, the FNM released a statement offering prayers to the family and stating that as a party which respects the rule of law, the FNM confidently expects a thorough and professional police investigation and urges the public to allow due process to take its proper course. Well, knowledge is power, and this is why a local attorney is urging Bahamians to read up on the laws that govern them. At a town meeting hosted by a local government, Attorney Rankin Johnson appealed to Bahamians to become more in tune with the regulations that govern us all. Noted attorney Rankin Johnson was recently the guest speaker at the local government final town meeting. In speaking with residents, she urged them to become acquainted with the laws that govern this land, adding that residents should also know their rights. Firstly, she spoke about the importance of knowing the Constitution of the Bahamas.
In order to understand your rights and any laws that are passed by our Parliament, in the past or in the present or in the future, you have to understand the primary act, which was passed in 1973, giving each and every one of us rights, the duties of the government, the duties of the opposition, the duties of the judges. It basically covers the foundation and the jurisdiction of this Commonwealth, an independent nation.
As for Grand Bahamians, she says it is vital that residents are aware of the provisions in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement.
When you read it for yourself, you get into the spirit and you say, you know what, I live here. I want to know how am I governed by a private company that has certain jurisdictions that is to be amended if we so allow in 2015, which is the most important thing, whether they are to pay property tax or whether they're going to be exempt for a further period of years.
And as local government elections draws near, she is urging residents to also become familiar with the Local Government Act and any amendments made.
It is us that they represent and has to look after some of the jurisdictions that have been given to them by the Act. In my humble opinion, it should not be curtailed, but it should remain as it was in the original Act so that they can function properly in representing us. And by us coming to such town meetings as these, we are telling them, we're going to talk to them what we want. They live here, they don't live in Hollywood, they live right here. So whatever good that we want for ourselves, they want the same for themselves. Nothing to do with politics. Nothing to do. It's us, the people. It's our lives, it's our livelihoods that we're interested in.
In other news, a local pastor and community leader joining forces with the police to promote safe communities after a walkabout in the area a few weeks ago. Partners have come together to form a crime watch committee in that area. Pastor Eddie Victor is leading the effort. He says the mission is to build strong communities, and it can be done by eliminating the criminal element.
What we are looking for, number one, is to have a safe community, and two, to create more awareness among the people in the neighborhood, not only awareness of who their neighbors are, but also to bring a closer bond. And so where we could actually say that the community, the people in the community are watching out for each other. And so that's what we are looking to achieve here today.
Now, Inspector Henry Rolle says it is always good when communities can come together to help the police. The officer responsible for urban renewal is pleased with the support of residents in that subdivision.
We realize that crime has a corrosive effect on the individuals and the communities. So, you know, we wanted to advise members of the community in Chesapeake and Lincoln Park to come out and support this initiative, because it is one that can bond a relationship with the police and the community, helping us to move forward as you're aware, that crime has a toll on our department, which we have to enforce the laws of the Bahamas, and whereas partnering with the community and having to solve some of these issues, it will make the quality of life much better for our communities.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Deepwater Key, a private dive resort off East Grand Bahama, featured on the Fox Sun Sports Network via Scuba Nation, reaching some 5 million households. Private Dining Paradise was the title of the show, which featured Deepwater Key dive master and local celebrity diver Philip Russell as he took the team from Scuba Nation on a 2-day diving and snorkeling trip in East End. Diving is an addition to the amenities at Deepwater Key. Co-host of Scuba Nation says the company loves working with Deepwater Key and wants to continue to do everything to help put the resort on the scuba diving world map. You can watch the video of Scuba Nation at Deepwater Key by logging on to www.scubanation.com. The Status of Women Committee of the Bahamas Union of Teachers taking time out to honor 5 retired teachers who have given exemplary service to the profession. The 5 females were recognized during a church service and a luncheon held on Grand Bahama yesterday. The women, Shirley Morris, Adam A. Sears, Elmarina Williams, Beatrice Ferguson, and Kalitha Mortimer, have all served in the public school systems throughout the country. BUT President Belinda Wilton says it is always good to give thanks to those who have served.
I must say that the 5 of our honorees, cumulative, have hundreds of years in education and in teaching, and we are very proud today to be able to honor them, because a lot of times teachers do not get their flowers while they're alive. So we're happy that we're able to pause today and to celebrate 5 of our retirees, and this is actually going to be the beginning of what else that we're going to do for other teachers and other retirees that were members and are members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers.
Tanika Martin, committee chair, believes there is much work for the committee to do on Grand Bahama as they dialogue with women on various issues impacting society today.
Today, our theme is reaching back to the past to embrace the future, because this is actually the first official start of this committee here in the island of Grand Bahama. And we look forward to partnering with our members here in the Grand Bahama District as we seek to improve the quality of life and the rights that all of our female teachers have in this profession. This committee meets monthly, once a month, and we seek to focus on various aspects of the females in the profession of education. This month, our focus will be on women and their finances.
A newly formed organization is committed to preserving the history of Grand Bahama Island. President Peggy Grove's daughter-in-law of Wallace Grove says it is her mission to continue their family passion of preserving the history of this island from the 1700s to the 1980s. She says the island's artifacts and storytelling will come to life on a virtual online museum. The museum, she says, can only be possible if residents on this island come together.
Unfortunately, in this island community, paper documentation does not exist. The Groves family has quite an archive, but we want to capture those stories of those persons who are passing, that do have a memory, who can repeat to us grandma's recipe for guava duff, those individuals who still know how to plait in the old-fashioned way, who can document and give me step by step, that can describe to me the weaves that they're doing and how this tradition started. Through digital means, we are now archiving for the Historical Society. We will be launching a virtual museum as a first step toward a real brick-and-mortar museum for Grand Bahama.
Now she's inviting residents of Grand Bahama from east to west to share their stories of their grandparents and great-grandparents, the way they lived, and anything that can be deemed important to the history of this island.
am on Facebook at the Art of Giving Freeport, and I began this shop, the Art of Giving, as a prototype museum gift store, because every museum needs a gift store for cash flow. So to be a part of it, stop by here at the Art of Giving, sign up my book that I have here, registry, and we'll begin building a listing of people that we, through email, cell phone, contact, that we will then start community meetings of how they can become a part of it, how they can help. As I said, I've reached out to individuals to say, who knows how to weave, who knows how to plait. That has been one of my big missions this summer, is to find someone who still knows how to do those type of arts, and who would be willing to be photographed and documented, because again, that's for posterity, for archiving.
Now, the launch of the online virtual museum is set for this coming September. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightburn has a check on sports when we come back.
Welcome to sports, everybody. I'm Ricardo Lightburn. Tonight, sports is dedicated to Jeffrey Capron. He is 100 years young, and boy, he is still celebrating. Well, Bahamas Golf Federation Junior Championships came right here to Grand Bahama at the Reef Golf Course. The junior golfers had a wonderful time, and according to the junior chairman, it's gone pretty good.
It's been good. It's very competitive. I know the course has played really hard for the kids, but so far I like what I see.
Looking at the participation this year, dropped off somewhat, disappointment, or looking at futuristic?
No, it's looking great. We have almost 30 juniors who are participating this weekend, so junior golf is looking good. I hope to see it grow a lot more.
The junior golfers had to contend with windy conditions at the Reef, which always plays tough. Anthony Smith is encouraged by participation and a step up to drive the junior program back on Grand Bahama.
I feel enthusiastic about the game of golf, junior golf program here on Grand Bahama, because a number of persons have expressed an interest in helping me resurrect the program. Zach Smith, Dennis, Lou Parker, and a couple others who, of course, Alex Gibson is always around and he's always there to help. And so we're looking forward to a bright opportunity here on Grand Bahama with the junior golf program.
The juniors will travel to Puerto Rico for the Junior CAGC in July, and they'll be ready to play competitive golf. Let's switch now to basketball. Bahamas Basketball Federation national team tryouts held on Grand Bahama at the YMCA gym. Colorado State University men's basketball coach Stephen Barnes conducted the sessions that actually was geared to skill and talent. The workout sessions was youth intensive, and opportunity is there for anyone to make the national team.
I've been in Nassau for the last 5 days, doing the same thing as I'm doing tonight, having workouts, treating it as a practice, getting an idea who's good, who can possibly make this team, and then also doing somewhat of a clinic, teaching these young guys how to play, because it's a wide variety of age groups. And then what we're also doing is I came over here to Freeport for 2 days to do the same thing. So I want to make sure that everybody feels like they had an opportunity to make this team.
Coach Barnes says he's excited with the opportunity to coach the Bahamas national team, and he says it'll be a busy summer.
June 13th to the 19th in Colorado at Colorado State, and we'll invite 1 or 2, maybe 3, or however many from the island, from Freeport or Nassau or wherever that may be. And then there's so many of the guys that live in the U.S. that are either at the university level or guys that are playing professionally overseas and back in the U.S. So we're going to bring those guys. We'll bring 15 to 20 to Colorado. We'll go for about a week up there using our facilities, stay in a nice hotel. And then from there, we're going to come back here June 23rd through the 29th and work out in Nassau and finalize this team with about 12 guys is what we got to take. And then we leave the 30th for Tortola, British Virgin Island.
Grand Bahama Basketball Association President Rodney Crippy-Wilson was disappointed that some of the veteran players did not take advantage of the sessions with Coach Barnes.
Look like they bring a lot of toughness. They want guys who could be tough, and they concentrate a lot on rebounding the ball and kicking out, and guys who can really want to shoot the ball and play good defense.
Let's go to softball. Slow pitch played on the weekend. Pat's uniform Reds defeating the Portside Stackers 12-1 in a co-ed affair. Michael Sweeting got the win and loss to Stephen Meadows. Immigration enforcers, they shut out the Port Authority Regulators 11-zip. Jermaine Scavallo went the distance, and the loss goes to Stefano Bevins. And in men's play, Pat's uniform Reds, they blasted Stadall 23-7. Michael Sweeting issued the win, loss to Tyrell Smith. And don't forget that the IAAF World Relays will start on Friday and Saturday, Thomas A. Robinson Stadium down there in New Providence. But for right now, the kids here at the Reef Golf Course, they're having a wonderful time. That's your sports. Tee it up with ZNS.